You're coming in after a very, very long podcast day, bro. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I was worried about you that you wouldn't make it to this point, but you're here.
We're gonna be all right. I just had to clean up some things in this studio I never thought I'd have to clean up. Sure, it's a little ruined, but that's all right. We have Matan in here before these guys, so this is quite the switch up.
Definitely
vibe.
Totally different energy, huh?
Yes, different energy. I'll fix my cameras later, but yours look great, so we're good. He was with he would just start with the cameras over there, spraying Lysol in our coffee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It
I
was
mean,
nuts.
When you deal with internet personalities like that, it must be like a wild card situation, stepping into the studio not knowing what you're going to get dealt with that day.
I've dealt with a lot of wild guests over the years, and we've done some fucking unhinged podcasts. I've never dealt with one where the person's in psycho character the entire time. That was a first.
You know what's funny, though? This is actually, like, very funny. We're talking about psycho characters because in your space, you deal with characters. Mm-hmm. In my space, I deal with actually psychotic people. You know, like, that's just how they actually operate in the real world in an industry that's supposed to be professional.
Yeah.
Whereas in the internet world, he's putting on a persona, I would assume. I mean,
you deal with him well, man. We weren't in Italy for like 2 hours. He's sitting at the table, you know, finishing up every fucking course of the meal, finishing up the wine, gets on the phone. Yeah, no, Raphael, seller likes full price offers. Yeah, no. I'm gonna cut you off right there. Call me back when you got a big boy offer, all right? Okay, all right. And then he just like looks at you dead seriously across the table and just nods. Like, I guess I was supposed to be paying attention to that.
Well, that's the thing is you only heard my end of the conversation there. You didn't hear what this guy was
what he sound
pitching
like.
to me. I mean, you have to understand in the market that we're in that if you're coming to me when a property has been listed for a certain amount of months and we've had so many conversations on why the property is sitting on the market for that long, it's not me not wanting to sell it. It's the seller's realistic or unrealistic view on what their opinion of price is.
Right.
And at the end of the day, buyers and sellers decide the value of a property. The market tells us what it's worth. And I, as a realtor, can only guide my seller so much to tell him what the value of said property is. But long of the short is I've been going back and forth with this gentleman and their buying party for quite a while. And they put an offer in and he's asking about the offer and the offer was denied and not even rebutted, right? The seller didn't even counter them at a number because their offer was so low. So when you call me for the fifth, sixth time, there's where I wouldn't say I was being mean. I don't think
No, you were very
mean.
nice, but you were to the point.
I think I was just to the point about, hey, you know, this is our list price. The seller wants our list price. If we're not going to do that, and then on top of that, in this game that we play of real estate, I cannot, especially in New Jersey. In other states, it's a little bit different, but in New Jersey, you can't just willy-nilly call somebody on the phone and say, hey, take this offer for $500,000, right? It has to be a written contract signed by the buyer, signed by the realtor. There has to be proof of funds backed by it. So you pitching me on an offer over the phone is nice and dandy if it's something that I think the seller's going to accept. But if you're pitching me on a number that's not even there, and then you're not even putting it in front of me in writing,
that's right.
So I can't present it, it's a waste of time, especially if I'm sitting in Rome with my best friends, drinking wine and eating the best food in the world. So
call the lawyers.
The impatience came to a point of where I had to put my foot down.
Yeah, I saw you even looking at the Roman real estate over there, though. You're like, all right, this one's 320 square meters, nice neighborhood, 2.1 million when you convert it from euros. Oh, this should be 15 in New York. It's a buy.
It is crazy that we could honestly do everything that we do here if we applied it there. And I'm sure the Airbnb and rental market is crazy, and add on to the fact where you could step outside your door and sit in a piazza for 7 hours and drink wine and drink espressos all day. Like, that lifestyle is definitely gravitating towards some people nowadays.
Kish was getting me tempted. He's like, we all go in on a place. Maybe it's like 10 of us. Everyone pays like $8K a year. You use it when you want. We Airbnb 4 of the months. I'm like, dude, don't keep talking. I'm going to make a dumb buying decision.
I know. I mean, I could see why people who have that type of cash can make a decision like that. Yeah. You know, it's funny because buying real estate outside of your market and trying to manage it is always a thought in an investor's head. And as a investor who does it locally, like my properties are here in New Jersey, so I'm able to touch, feel, and act upon things necessary when they need to. Like I legitimately go pick up the rent every month. I legitimately, if a maintenance issue comes up, I'll go with the contractor and look at it. But like, I can't imagine if I owned a property, even in Florida,
Right.
you know, having to make the call to somebody and be like, what's going on, you know, because then you're not only trusting that the tenant's not lying to you, you have to trust your maintenance guy that they're not in cahoots. And, you know, real estate's stressful as it is. I don't want to have to worry about something across the world.
You go collect the rent yourself?
I collect the rent, yeah.
You take a bat with you?
No, my tenants are very nice.
I bet they're fucking
Nice to you, yeah.
You come up and breathe on them very deeply, and they're like, yes, sir, here you go.
I did have to do a, you know, I wouldn't call it an eviction, but I did have to remove a tenant one time that was in a, there was no clobbering or anything. There was...
Didn't have to get to that.
I got extremely upset because we were at a point of contention where I was legitimately helping this person for over a year. They weren't paying rent. They lost their job. And I think if anybody knows me, and you've known me for a while, and Anthony knows me for a while, I give people the benefit of the doubt. And I wanted to help them, helping them get a new job. And it came to a certain point where they weren't doing anything and they weren't progressing towards getting to where things are at a good point, right? It was like every month would go by and no conversation would happen. So I heard through the grapevine of other people in my circle that were trying to help this person that he refused their help with groceries one time and he asked for money instead. And that kind of raised a red flag. Yeah. So my next step was to let's sit down and have a meeting. Our meeting, the goal was to get him to a point to start to get government help for what his situation is. And he was in a very difficult situation, right? In order for him to get help, he needed to go through a due process. And me and my brother were ready to help him go through that due process. We sit down, we have lunch, we make a schedule of like, hey, we're going to take you here on this day. We're going to go to you. If we have to hire an attorney and get things rolling, we're going to help you. Because at the end of the day, he was a good tenant when he was capable of paying rent and was, I think, mentally stable and physically stable. He was paying rent. It wasn't a problem. Anyway, after that meeting, everything was on the up and up. In the back of my head, I'm like, let me just go walk through the apartment real quick. You know?
That's when you found the crack.
Worse than crack, I found another man living there with him.
Oh, wow.
And a whole bunch of other things that indicated that he was able to pay for things. Like there was a bong, there was some weed, there was some food, he was cooking. I'm like, these aren't indications of people that are struggling. These dudes are just chilling up in my crib. Yeah. I'm paying the electric, I'm paying the water.
Right.
He's not paying rent. And then things started clicking in my head and like, it was like a movie scene where I was like, turned red. I turned red.
You turned red.
And I was like, yo, let me just talk to you outside real quick.
Take a seat.
I was like, so we got to talking outside, and I'm just like, yo, this is completely against everything that I stand for. I've been helping you for over a year now. You haven't paid me $1. If we started adding up the totals, you owe me, you know, over $15,000, $20,000 right now. You know, but I'm not that guy.
Right.
You know, we would figure something out here. But now you have another dude living in there. When I went in there, he was getting ready to take a shower. I was like, he's using my electric, he's using my water, he's using everything, and you're not paying $1.
You were a sugar daddy for the sugar
They were definitely in cahoots doing something
I gathered that.
Whatever was going on, and zero judgment anyway. Anyway, I look at him in his eyes, I'm like, yo, you have 2 days. This dude, he had a bed, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. He had his bed set up in the kitchen. This other gentleman. I'm like, him and all of his stuff has to get out of my house. Or else, that's it, brother. Our relationship is done. I'm going to get a moving company. I'm going to get you out of here. And you're going to have to go to a shelter, whatever it is. This is not working for us. I show up 2 days later. Apartment's like halfway clean. The guy's bed is up on the wall. You know, I'm looking around. As I'm looking around, I'm like, a calming effect is happening because I'm like, maybe he's doing the right thing. Nope. Maybe he's not. I don't know. And then I shake his hand. On my way out, I see weed and a bong, and I'm like, that doesn't sit right, you know? Like, you can't be not generating income, not paying rent, and getting high. If you're getting high, you have to be doing something correct, you know, right? That's how I think, you know? Like, the getting high isn't the priority, you know? So I did one more sweep of the apartment. And when I did one more sweep of the apartment, the couch is slightly off the wall. And I go up to the couch. I'm like, and then there's a comforter hanging out of the back of the couch.
Oh, no, he still has it.
I lift up the comforter. All I see is this dude's legs.
Oh, no.
He was hiding behind the couch.
Hiding behind the couch.
And I'm like, I look at my tenant. I'm like, yo,
you're out.
this is it. I said, this is the final straw here. I can't do this.
Did you have the sunglasses on?
I probably was at that point. My fists were balling and I was ready to go. But I, thank God, have the willpower to not go that direction. And
you can tell me. There's no one listening.
No, I mean, listen. I was just talking to John about this the other day because, like, you deal with psychopaths that are in character. I deal with real psychopaths, and I was like, I wish this was like 10 years ago when I played football, and I could just be like, hey, like let's just do a one-on-one now, and we could settle this.
Little fucking Oklahoma drill.
Just put your hand in the dirt, and like we could settle this if you have beef, you know. But that was a joke. So when I see this dude still laying in my house, he gets up in like a panic, right? He gets up in like a panic, and he's like scurrying around. I'm like, I'm not like freaking out, but he could tell I'm not happy, right?
You're guarding the door to make sure he's not. You're playing linebacker.
I wasn't guarding the door. I was trying to assist him out of the door, right? But anyway, as he's running out of the door and like managing this shit, he looks at me. He's like, because I'm like kind of reading the tenant or the riot act, and he's like, you know, I've been paying him $400 a month to stay here. And I look at the tenant,
no.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, you've been paying. As this guy says that, the tenant starts digging in his pocket and pulls out like $200 and like hands it to me. I'm like, give me that.
Wow.
You know. And then I was like,
you put him on a payment plan?
No.
Triple.
I was
cahoots.
like, give me that $200. Let's talk outside. I'm gonna be back here on Saturday. If you are here, you're not going to be here the following day. You know, I was like, I expect when I come back here on Saturday that you're no longer here and all of your stuff is gone. So thank God, came back on Saturday. He was gone and the friend was gone as well, but all of his stuff was still in the apartment. So we had to get it cleaned out and it was a whole thing. He didn't tell us he left a cat in there.
We left a cat too.
And R.I.P. to that cat.
Oh, you killed the cat?
I didn't kill the cat, but I didn't know the cat was in there.
Oh, you just let it die in the house, you sick fuck.
It was bad. My other tenants.
You took the dead cat out of the house.
No, I didn't take the cat.
You killed the cat.
I didn't kill the cat. The cat died from natural causes.
No, it died from starvation and heat stroke because you locked the house and the cat was still in it.
It wasn't my cat. I had no idea he had a cat.
You know that the cat's in there.
Right, you're right. I should have known.
Yeah, you
that
should have
he
known.
left
You're a
the
cat killer.
That is horrible story. Anyway,
You're a fucking cat killer.
Call it like 2 weeks later. We're like planning to get his stuff out of here. 2 weeks later, my other tenants in the house are like, there is a horrid smell.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I like send somebody over there to go look at the plumbing or something, or like the sewer.
No.
And my guy calls me. He's like, you don't even want to believe.
It's a dead fucking cat.
And the cat was doing everything to escape, so it was
it
like
had scratch marks on the door and shit.
ruined the house.
Oh my God, you made like the fucking Auschwitz for cats.
Yeah. I mean, this is a horrible story.
Wow.
Dark.
Some tears are being shed.
This
Like-
is hey,
like
but this
picturing
is
the
real
last scene in
estate.
Sarah's Key.
This is real
Sarah's Key.
estate. You want to own real estate? This is the type of shit you could deal with.
Okay.
The things people don't see.
Yeah.
This is legit. The things people don't see. And
Dead
when I
cats,
tell you,
gay gigalos, and evictions.
and when I tell you,
That's
like,
a good show.
what was the show?
Dead cats, gay gigolos, and evictions.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't even feel like an eviction because, like, at the end of the day, he knew he was in the wrong because I know he has a good heart. People just go crazy.
You still think the guy has a good heart?
I
Let
think
a cat die in there.
I don't think it's a bad heart. I think he either fell into drugs, he got extremely severely depressed, And there was a time and place where I had actual care and love for this guy. But, you know, in my family history, my dad and my mom growing up always put a helping hand to people in need.
Yes.
We had a kid from Rutgers College that my dad would train that worked at the store, that he took him in for the summer. And that ended up being weird years later because he showed up on our doorstep asking to live in our shed when he went mentally insane. We had another guy, worker for my dad, that, you know, we took in, helped him out, gave him a job. He got good, and then he ended up falling back and ODing, you know. And then in the more recently, we had an employee stay with us, took care of him, was able to bring him back and forth to work, the whole 9 yards, and he ended up turning into a severe alcoholic. Again, you try to help people, you can only help the people that want help.
That's exactly
Right.
I think, you know, that doesn't affect me moving forward in helping people, but especially putting people in my rental properties that are supposed to be generating me income, I have to be a little bit more safe with those decisions. But it's a learning experience nonetheless. It's a learning experience
Maybe a
nonetheless.
cat has to die, but you learn from it. Gave its life for a good. How old was this cat?
I didn't even know there was a cat in the apartment.
I understand that, but what about the autopsy? How old?
I didn't do no autopsy. Do you want to know the autopsy? This cat looked like a frisbee at the end of this.
Oh no.
You know? How long do you think that cat, if we're going to get into the details about it, how long do you think that cat was there in order for it to start decomposing and my tenants above them to start smelling it? You know? It wasn't...
So this was weeks.
It had to be.
You didn't think to go back in there? And
I had people in there cleaning out the apartment.
And they didn't see the fucking cat?
He was burrowing and he was probably cold. I don't know.
It's probably cold. You said there were scratch marks.
Surprised it
trying to
didn't
get
make
out.
the headlines of some news articles.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So
Wherever you go, death follows you. Iran. Well, you didn't go to Iran. You went to the Gulf. It was close enough.
That's horrible. Nobody I knew there died. Thank God. Literally, thank God.
Oh, man.
Talking about the details of real estate, things people don't see. Discuss some of the things people don't know and don't see to your job and your
dead
process.
Cats and fucking.
Well, as far as real estate investing, that's really the and it's not the detail of dead cats or evictions. It's just the unknown when going into the business of investing in real estate, right? You are never going to be able to do a full due diligence on a project before you sign the dotted line, put your deposit down, and commit to making a decision.
It's not like Monopoly where you just, let me buy this property, I'm all good.
And you're all good, and you collect rent every month, you know, or Pasco, or you go to, you know, like, nothing has a XYZ, or what is that, a algorithm equation to what is the answer in this game. You have to be prepared for everything, and, you know, and in my experience, in anything in business, you're never fully prepared. You just have to be mentally prepared to take on that.
Right.
You know, when you look at outside of stock market, I don't think there's anything that is more just commonly insane market dynamics than real estate, because it's strictly, it's all behavioral. You know, people can do different strategies that then everyone in the fucking industry close to there follows. We were talking about that before camera, and then suddenly it resets the entire market, and then you have all the externals like the actual broader economy,
right? And the
market to buy,
the regular market of residential buyers, which is one of the, if not the most. All right, so I'm 4 years in the business now, and I've only really seen one type of market, which is a seller's market, where in New Jersey, certain sects of the market, like in more metropolitan areas and like city-like towns, those are shifting its way into being less of a seller's market, and it really depends on the product that's being brought to the market. Whether,
why is that?
I think due to the rate environment and the where like the economy stands as a whole, is people are being a lot more picky and choosy rather than just rifling and making decisions. But in the suburbs, for example, like I guess Montclair is more of like a city, but I would say Montclair is a suburb. And you know, there's like single family beautiful houses and things like that. Bougie, upper echelon. very clean, and the community is very well taken care of, and it's a nice place to live. That has to be one of the most crazy markets that I've ever done business in. I've done rentals, I've done commercial business there, and I've done sales and representing buyers and sellers there. The way that residential properties are being marketed, as a broker, as someone who thinks ethically, and as someone who, would like to be honest, it's very difficult to operate in that market. There is a property that is listed at $899, $900,000, we'll call it.
In Montclair?
In Montclair. Single family house, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe updated.
Wow.
Maybe
But $900,000 in Montclair?
$900,000.
Crazy.
Is there like asbestos in there?
No, it was sold. So it's June 2026, listed at 900.
Yeah.
In 2023, it was sold for $1.05 million.
I was gonna say.
Right.
Yeah.
So $150,000 over what they're listing it for 3 years later. The market did not decrease in that time.
Right.
The market only increased. But the strategy as a seller is to price it $100,000 to $150,000 underneath, because they believe, and I'm starting to understand this is the truth, but at the end of the day, I don't believe this to be the truth. But what I've heard in the dialogue around this and what I've seen from my experience is houses are selling $100,000 to $150,000 over their list price every single time in Montclair. Single family residential properties, because it's very difficult to get in there.
Right.
But they're saying that if they list it at what they think true value is, which like this house probably is going to sell for 1.2, around that price range. If they listed it for $1,090,000 or $1.1 million, the market would think that the house is going to sell for 1.4.
That's crazy.
1.3. So they're going to miss that 1.1 buyer. Where my buyer, who's good up to 950, right under $1 million, they walk into this $900,000 house. They think they have a shot. They can go 50 over. Right. They can go 55 over. They can make a decision to try to make it happen. But in reality, they're not even going to be thought of because the sellers bought the house for $50,000 more than their max.
You showed me a crazy. Well, it was on your story, I think, or a post. This was maybe like a month ago. That was crazy. That had my red alarms going off. Where you listed out 5 different properties. They maybe ranged. They were in different towns in North Jersey. They ranged from, I want to say, like $300K to like $700-800K in ask price. And you went through each offer and how far over the ask price you were.
Yeah.
And the best position you finished in was 4th.
Yep.
Where you were like, I think the percentage was like 21% over the fucking ask. And you're like, I wasn't even in the top 15 for one that I went 15% over the ask. When I see shit like that, that's almost like a little bit of like a Big Short moment where you're like,
yeah,
that feels wrong.
Is it a Big Short, or is it just, why aren't we pricing properties according?
It might be. It's just, it's weird.
Like, that's that in my head, like, because I have a few that are coming out right now. I have a property in Wayne that I'm going to be listing, and like, if I wanted to play this game, Wayne is a market that people will go 100 over, Right. If I wanted to play this game, I'll list this extremely under and bring in all those buyers that think they have a chance, so that buyer that's at the top believes they have to go extremely over to make it happen. Or I could price it right where the seller feels that they want it and where I believe the market is going to call for it, and maybe give it a $50K cushion, give or take either way, so that people know the true value of the property. I think that's what our responsibility is.
Sure.
Our responsibility is to tell the market, like, hey, this property, 3-bed, 2-bath, built in 1940, was updated and maintained throughout the time. A property like this is valued at X, not X minus 150.
Right.
That brings those people that are in that minus 150 market, that gives them hope. But then, the other realtor and someone else will say, well, that's your job as a realtor to tell them that they're not going to be able to get that house because it sells for over 150. And I had that conversation with my buyers. I was like, hey, buyers, you see this house down the block that this house is listed for 900? This house down the block sold for 1.4. This one over here sold for 1.2. But because they're being marketed at 900 in their head, they're like, no, we have a shot. We could pay 900. We could pay over 900. Why wouldn't we have a shot at this? And I don't not understand their point, but since this is what I do,
there's so many factors that go into selling a house.
It moves
There's
so fast.
many.
It's on both sides too. Like,
and then you get someone, say for example, that comes in like, I want to do all cash. That changes everything because then it's like, I want all cash.
Can you explain that to people out there?
Yeah,
how that actually goes down.
So it's interesting that this is not something that's like, I feel like real estate should be discussed in high school and
I completely agree.
So that when it comes time that you talk to a realtor, it's not me educating you on the entire thing.
Well, throw on your tinfoil hat. Maybe there's a reason they don't educate you. Just saying.
You're not wrong. I don't think you need a tinfoil hat for that. I just think you need
a light tin.
Yeah. So structuring an offer in an all cash position, it strengthens you against a mortgage because it shows a seller that this buyer does not have to go to a bank and prove to a bank and that they need this $800,000 to borrow from you to purchase this property. The seller's like, hey, because as a seller, the person that's offering you with a mortgage, you're saying, okay, we take your offer, but now it's your responsibility to go to the bank, make sure that you can get approved for this loan. Don't make any bad buying decisions or financial decisions in the process of us closing on this property so that you're not able to attain this loan. Because what happens in that offer is the buyer saying with the mortgage, I'm buying this property contingent on me being able to get a mortgage. If someone's offering cash, they're not saying I'm buying this property contingent on me getting this cash. They're saying I'm buying this property and here's this bag of money you're going to take. You know, there might be other contingencies, but it's not the financial risk.
Yes.
Right. So typically in markets, someone would take the safer cash option that might be a little bit of a lower price because they know that if we select this buyer, we're going to be able to close this deal financially.
That's right.
Because what happens after you accept the initial offer is there's something called due diligence, right? So the buyer has time to do due diligence on the property to satisfy all the contingencies that they're buying under.
How many days usually is that?
Usually like after your offer gets accepted, you can close on the property within 60 days. A loan typically takes around 30 to 45 days to close. But once you get your offer accepted, that's when you go into attorney review. And attorney review is where the buyer's attorney and the seller's attorney take the initial offer contract and add their attorney rider to it, which pretty much holds each party accountable to what they agreed upon in the initial offer. Now, since it's so competitive right now and very difficult to get past that first offer, like when you were watching my story and we were fourth in line and we went 55, you know, like that's only step one. Step one is getting past that. Hey, seller, Mr. Seller, you like this offer that we presented you. Now let's go into attorney review. In attorney review, technically you could steer the contract to favor buyer or seller, but if you have a good attorney and a good counsel, they're not going to allow that steering to deviate what was initially agreed upon. But that's where things could change. Like, for example, in a contract we just did, we offered X amount with, let's just call it a $50,000 deposit, right? In attorney review, the seller wanted more of the deposit in escrow, right? Because once you go under contract after attorney review, there's a earnest money deposit held by the seller that the buyer puts in an escrow account so that the seller feels some type of commitment from the buyer, right?
Yep.
So you put this $50K in escrow. It sits here until we close on the property. Once we close, that $50K gets applied to your closing costs.
Right.
So it's just like, hey, take this earnest money deposit so we know you're committed to us. So a term that could get changed in attorney review is like, hey, make that $50K $100K so that we know, we feel more comfortable.
What about people out there right now who are looking, and I have to pull them up on Google just to see what the latest are, but who are looking at like rates on houses and are like, maybe there will be an economic pullback in the next year or two. They'll have to lower rates again. I can get a better mortgage, better deal. It'll also be less of a seller's market. I want to wait on buying a home. Do they have an argument there?
I think that's like a very skewed argument because I don't think the environment of rates justifies a individual buyer's capability of buying a house.
Can you explain that?
So if a buyer feels financially stable in today's rates to be able to move forward and make a financial decision to afford a house, and that's what they feel comfortable with, I don't think the rates lowering will change their mind, because what happens to the market when the rates lower is prices change, right? What happens when rates lower? More buyers enter the market. People that could afford $800,000 could now afford $900,000. People that could afford, so you're bringing more buyers to the table.
It evens out.
So there's more demand. I don't know if it exactly evens out, but yeah. I don't, in my opinion, and the way that I invest in properties, the rate only has to do with the bottom line of where my investment goes, right? It has nothing to do with the market in general. Of course, the market moves on that, like especially in the commercial sector, because the borrowing power for someone to be able to do a development, their numbers have to be very strict. So say the quarter point changes, the money they have reserved for this phase of construction is going to get delayed because they don't have the money right now. Right. Because their borrowing power changed. But when we're talking about residential home buyers and people like trying to buy a single family house, if you're looking at the $800,000 house and the rate is 6% and you could afford it, and that monthly nut makes sense to you in your pro forma, and you feel comfortable holding that, in my opinion, there's no better time to buy than now, because in New Jersey, if you look at the market over the last 100 years, it has done nothing but up and to the right. So if you waited till tomorrow, it's going to go up.
You know what's crazy about that too? I don't have the exact chart in front of me. Obviously, when you say it goes up, there's still little moments where it goes down, but overall it goes up. There was so many people during COVID that left New Jersey, New York, and a bunch of the states up here and went down south. And there was literally a mathematical, technical exodus versus people actually moving in versus moving out, meaning more were moving out. And yet overall, prices still found a way to go up. That is...
And then the prices down there went crazy.
Yes.
And the prices down there went crazy.
It's like both went crazy.
Yeah.
Again, I look at shit like that and I'm like, okay, maybe a party can last for a while where there's like a lot of excitement for whatever reason. But at some point, the math has to math a little bit there, right?
I am with you. And I get into this conversation a lot because I deal with a lot of investors and people who make money in the real estate space where they're like, what is the next? Because at this point, when you're that smaller investor looking for flips, when the market is going like this and everybody thinks their house is worth $1 million, it's difficult to find that asset that you're going to make money on.
That's right.
So, I sit down and have this conversation with people a lot, like, when is it going to change? Like, my question to that is, what is the change that's going to happen? What is the significant financial event that changes people from stopping to want to move to this area and grow?
Well, at that point, like a deeper thought here is, if people are leveraging that a lot in their analysis of a property, then they're weighing too much on what the external market is doing, and that's going to create a liability if they actually go forward with that property. Whereas you can look at the market and be like, hey, there's some factors here. But if they're really reliant on what is happening externally, we're going to create a lot of liability.
No, and that kind of goes back to the point of like, are you as the investor, as the buyer, financially capable of making this happen no matter what happens externally? Right?
Yes.
Not worrying about what the rate is.
Yeah.
Not worrying about if X, Y, and Z happens. Like, this property in Wayne, if you buy it for $300,000 and you put $100,000 into it, you could sell it for $800,000.
Right.
You know that, no matter what.
I'm going to come back to that in a second because I have a question there. But we were referencing this a few minutes ago just so people can get an idea. So right now, a 30-year fix is floating between around 6.33% and 6.58, and a 15-year is 5.49 to 5.87.
Yeah, and typically, like your 5-year ARM, you're going to be getting a more competitive rate too because, that rate changes.
Right. Is that what does ARM stand for again?
I don't know exactly.
Ooh, I stumped you.
Yeah, you
I
don't know loans like that.
I don't stump you on anything with real estate. Fuck, I was asking about real estate.
Adjustable rate mortgage. Go fuck yourself.
Look at it. All right, where does it say that? It
doesn't say it anywhere.
It says that.
It doesn't say it anywhere.
Matan did that to me earlier. He's like, it's adjustable rate, or whatever he was reading.
It doesn't say it up there, but I knew it in my head, but you put me on the spot, and I knew you were going to ask me. But it means
hard being put on the spot.
It depends on what arm you get, but you go 5 years at a fixed rate, and then after year 5, you go to whatever market rate is.
Yes.
Variable.
Now,
which could be a balloon rate, or it could be a shrink rate.
But the idea is if you're going to buy an arm, is that you believe that the market is going down in the next 5 years.
Right.
So that you're locked in at this good rate that you have, and then once the rate drops, you go to the bank and you refinance into a 30-year at a good rate as well. Where you were, say you're 30-year at the time that you buy, you're getting quoted 6.7. Because these rates are all off of a regular human being that has good credit and that has good income and that has, like, not everybody can go to the bank and get that. You know, if you have a shitty credit, if you don't have your finances in a row, and you're not going to get quoted these rates.
Do you get involved with some of that process too? Like, let me give an example. Let's say you're working with a client and they're like, "Hey, I want to buy a house in the $600,000 to $700,000 range." Okay, here's a bunch of candidates. You go look at places. They land on one place. Offer gets accepted and all that. Now they're going in financing and stuff. And it kind of turns out as you're going through that, like, maybe they overshot what their budget is here, and this could turn into a problem. Are you the guy that has that conversation with them?
So I'm sure there's people that do that, but in my process, because my goal is to satisfy your needs up front.
Pause.
Legit pause on that. My goal is to create a plan and coach you through this process. So we're figuring out your budget, financial situation before we look at a house.
Got it.
I'm not taking you to a $600,000 house until we sit down with Massimo from Team Legacy Capital and we figure out exactly what your
like bank statements, income,
everything,
proof of everything.
But the reality of the situation is, I do that because I'm not wasting time.
Yes,
right.
That's
I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time to see because
it's kind of like dating.
Exactly. I have to underwrite the buyer, and that's me doing my job to the fullest. Is saying like, hey, you've come to me for help. You have X amount of dollars saved. You make this much money. My credit is this. All right, let's sit down with Team Legacy Capital. Let's figure out exactly what your monthly nut could be, and then back it into what you want your monthly nut to be. Right. Because you might make all this money and you could afford this big ass house, but you might only want to spend a certain amount of money.
Right.
And that's a lot of people. Not everybody wants to be house poor and have all their money in a house because they make all this money. So if this is where you want to be, let's bracket that and only look at shit that is in that bracket.
How do you feel about people out there who are more hesitant to get into the home buying business, to actually buy a home that they want to stay in for a while because they're afraid to have too much of their personal equity caught up in it should they get into a situation where they really need to have liquidity?
So I have this argument with my financial advisor all the time because
Kish?
I bought houses when I was 22 years old, and you could call me house poor at that time, but
Meadow, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, that's and he was Meadow. What am I looking at me when I was 22? Right. So I have to stand on what I believe in. I believe in the real estate market. I believe in tangible assets. Right. So what is the ladder? Or what is the opposing view of being house poor? Is it having your cash sit in your bank? Is it having your cash sit underneath the mattress? Is it having your cash in a 401k? What is the other variable? Is it just being liquid? So that's like, my idea is like, if you could buy a house and you could live in that house and you're going to be needing to live independently, I feel putting that money into your homestead and in New Jersey specifically, it's going to grow, is your best option rather than renting. And or the argument is that $5,000 mortgage you pay, if you put $5,000 in the S&P for the next 30 years, it would be $1 million liquid, where that house is only worth X, and you paid this much in interest, and again, I think that is two totally different conversations. Right? What are we talking about? That same person that's deciding not to buy a house, are they deciding to put that? Okay, so maybe their rent isn't $5,000, maybe it's $3,500, but that remaining $1,500, are they going to invest that in the S&P every month? Like that's where that conversation, I think gets a little dicey in having a true stance on it.
Right.
Because my true stance is I want to make money on my money.
Yes.
Whatever that means. If it's reinvesting into my real estate business, if it's reinvesting into real estate, if it's putting it in the S&P, if it's putting it behind Deef's movie, you know, whatever that is, I want my money making money.
Yes.
You know, so if I'm going to have to live somewhere and I'm able to buy a house and I'm going to be burning a monthly nut on my housing, I would like a portion of that to be going back in my pocket in equity in the house. That's how I feel.
Makes sense to me. I think there's something to be said for also like you're pointing out, like the inflated prices with rents over time as well. Cause like and I'm thinking of like what I pay here. And if I actually owned it outright, a mortgage payment would be a lot less. I'd have to put money down, but like how long do you end up staying in a place like this? I've already been here 3 years. I've paid in all this money to it that I have no equity in. So at some point there's a trade-off, but then there's people who like being really mobile. Maybe they move somewhere every year. That's different.
It's all preference.
Yes.
I think it's all preference. And I think it stems to like somebody's financial planning from like a Taylor Kish wide lens of financial planning, right? Not like, what are you doing with your investable cash? Like, what are you doing with all of your cash?
Yes.
Right. It's a very wide lens of financial planning. And I think that's why it's like your true values in it. And I'm a real estate guy. I believe in it.
How's the rental market been?
So weirdly, in the last 6 months to a year, the rental market for me specifically, and where I deal, Hudson County, majoritively, and a little bit of Essex County, and now I have one listing in Morris County, Pompton Plains. It's gone a bit slower than what it went for me in the past.
Why do you think that is?
I honestly think it has to do with the fact that nobody wants to pay these prices, you know? And I think people are sacrificing staying in situations that they're comfortable in because they don't feel comfortable changing in the state of where the economy and where the country is right now economically, right? Like, why change something that's working for you if it's not a very easy transition or you have to move, right? Like a lot of the people that I deal with that are moving in the rental market have to move.
Place,
You know, they're the house they're living in is selling. They're moving their job. They want their son or daughter to be in a different school district. You know, back when I first started, people were just moving around. You know, people wanted to. Oh, I wanted to live in Bayonne. I wanted to live, or a lot. I mean, a lot of the rental market still is people leaving New York and coming here for a more affordable lifestyle and a similar commute to their job in New York. That's a large majority of the people moving in from to Jersey City, Bayonne, Hoboken area. Hoboken's indifferent, I think. You know,
indifferent
to what I'm talking about, it being slower. Whereas, like, you put something on the market, you're going to have 10 tenants show up, and you're going to have someone bidding on it immediately.
A lot of cranes in Hoboken right now, too.
Oh, they're building like
fucking
crazy.
Building. This is going to go from 60,000 people to like 75,000 people here overnight.
And I think people talk about it a lot, but I don't think it's like really being driven in. I truly think Hollywood East is going to be a real change in our real estate market and our lifestyle here. And you know what I just watched? I just watched Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, and they're talking about, they said that LA is going to be what Detroit is now, where it's ghost towning
for the production industry.
For like Hollywood,
or in general.
Like for the like production and like movies and like famous, like it's not gonna be that glitzy, glamoury Hollywood anymore.
I think they're on to something. I think it's probably going to be helped by market dynamics, though. As incompetent as California's government is, and we all know that, like, the market has been speaking with people building all these studios, building big places in Jersey. Before that, they were doing Atlanta and everything, to the point that they're going to have to re-incentivize some things out there. And the big difference between LA and Detroit is LA is fucking California coast, weather beautiful. Detroit's fucking Detroit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they have a point that, like, right now the trends are more trending that way, and that
I think
flip for them.
Less about industry. I think culturally as well, there is a shift happening. Right.
What do you mean by that specifically?
I mean, bro, I don't know if it's just my algorithm but like, I feel like more New Yorker and New Jersey like influence on social media, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is. there's a coming of like the vibe of New Jersey and New York and the East Coast more than I felt in the past, right? Where, you know, people love that energy, you know, and it's truly different. You know, we grew up in it, so it's normal for us, right? But like, I mean, when we were in Italy, you could pick us out of a crowd of 100 and everybody knew where we were from.
Well, you speak for yourself.
You know? I mean, you were surrounded by all of us, so you didn't have a choice.
Below you while I carried you down the streets of Florence.
That was a great time.
It's a good time.
So I think that cultural, there is going to be a cultural shift as well. I think it has to do with, you know, political viewpoints and people not loving what's happening with LA, and you know, a lot of people went to Austin for comedy, and I don't know, that's just my like broad thought on not only is industry changing and moving outside of LA, I think there's a culture shift, especially with this influencer culture where you don't have to be in a specific location to generate the views and clicks that, you know, maybe one day you had to be shooting with the production team in LA to make this type of cinema or TV show or whatever.
Sure.
And, you know, now you could fucking have your phone and you could be a viral TikTok star in Hoboken and stream the streets.
Johnny Drinks.
That's you know what I mean? And thing, you know, like even like Vincent Gigante, like
Hey, listen, how you doing?
know what I mean? Like,
bet on better real fast. Go fuck yourself. Okay.
like his energy
People love it, dude.
people love that.
He's great.
You know, Little Mo Mozzarella, people love him. You know, like all that energy. Timmy No Breaks. Do you know Timmy No Breaks?
That name sounds
He's
familiar.
from Kill Tony. He's a New Jersey comedian, but like he kind of went viral. Anyway, that's just my like broad thought of like why things are gonna start trending in like New Jersey. Like I had this epiphany. I'm about to sell a house in Bayonne, my own house. I'm about to sell one of my houses in Bayonne, and I almost had like epiphany today. Like maybe we shouldn't sell it.
Really,
You know,
'cause
like
it's getting that.
maybe like, but we're gonna make a bunch of money on it. Like it's a good sale. It's a good get rid of it sale. Like it's the right decision to make.
Yeah.
But in my head, like I'm like, do we not sell it? You know.
Where's the location? Is it more inland or towards the...
It's right in the beginning of Bayonne. It's a giant single family house. It's freaking
How many square feet we talking?
5 bedroom, 4
bedrooms.
bathroom, finished attic, finished
All new
finished
inside?
basement, updated in 2022. Big backyard, 2-car garage, 2-car driveway. Has everything that a single family in Bayonne that you want, and it's probably one of the larger single families in a block that you could get out of Bayonne in
Right.
5 minutes and get back in, and you're by all the shops. So
What's
you know,
your ask price?
we're gonna be asking somewhere around $800,000
Nah,
for it.
dude, hold on to that motherfucker.
Yeah, I was.
Hold on.
We're
to
not in
that
real estate,
motherfucker.
but the way you're phrasing
Yeah,
it, that
no.
epiphany might have been a
Well,
godsend.
No, I
Well-
know one in Philly that's described just like that. That my friend, whose name rhymes with Shmia Shmani Shmushin, moved into. That's like way higher price than that, and that's Philly, where everything's like half off.
No, I
compared
know,
to
but
here.
like, you know, when you think of like a budget sheet and a business pro forma, like we made our money on the property. It's time to put this money that we have in equity here and put it to work into something better. You know, that's where my head
Where's
is at.
better, New York?
It might even be in Bayonne, but I just think this specific property, it grew in the last 4 years to somewhere that the equity in it, we could pull it out and put it into something that
Makes
is
sense.
more manageable. Having, as an investor, as a real estate owner and running a portfolio, having a giant single family house is not, and you're not making, you know, if I was making thousands and thousands of dollars on it every month, maybe it makes sense to hold, but the maintenance on it alone maybe makes us break even to making a couple dollars on it every year.
Right.
Where let's take that equity and put it in something else. Even if it's in Bayonne, I'm not mad about it, but you know, just it just is the time.
That's the context you talked about. That's specific to your
Right.
financial plan.
Exactly. Because in the grand scheme of things, it might make sense. Hey, hold on to that property, right? I do make money on it every month. I do. It makes money. But
So you're charging rent on it right now?
yeah, I have a mortgage. Like, and this is the way I would tell any person that really is looking to get into real estate. And I'm not reinventing the wheel with this. A lot of people talk about this. Buy your first house. So me and my brother both used FHA mortgages to buy our houses. So
Can you explain that?
first time home buyer loan, where you're only putting down 3.5%. So I bought this house leveraging a first-time homebuyer loan, put down 3.5%. In order to leverage these loans, they're owner occupancy loans, so you have to move into the property. You can't rent them out immediately. So what we did is we moved into the house. We lived there for 2 years. After the 2 years, we rented it out. We moved out and rented it out. So we were able to leverage as little amount of our own capital to put into the property in a time where Bayonne was not, there was no Paramount Studios. The Costco was brand new. There wasn't 17 new apartment buildings. This was at a time where, you know, things were like just peaking.
Right.
So we got in at the perfect time on this one. And I would advise any person trying to get into the game that has the need for a living situation and wants to invest, leaning more on the investment side, because when you do this type of investing, you're typically going to have to compromise on all of your check boxes of how you want to live. Like, when I had to move into this property, I had to live in the attic, you know?
In the attic.
I'm
an attic guy myself.
It's
I
a
like
finished attic.
Yeah,
it was
vibe.
beautiful. I had my own kitchen. It was nice. Not saying it was like
You had
a
your own
major
kitchen in the
compromise.
attic.
I had a kitchenette. I had a fridge. It was like a big studio apartment,
Wait, a kitchenette?
which is like a sink, a fridge,
It's
and
a real kitchen.
no, I didn't have an oven.
Okay.
But I, had a
have an
microwave.
easy bake oven up there?
I had a microwave.
You have an easy
I wasn't
bake
like
oven?
cooking. I had a whole kitchen downstairs.
You not cooking? That's hard to
This was a
believe.
weird time in my life. I was like transitioning out of.
That's a big word. Listen,
It was a very big time. I was
Listen.
transitioning.
his name was
We were
Nicoletta
selling.
back then.
We were selling Bon Appetit. We had just opened Pourmore. I was just starting my real estate career, so I was in like 4 different places at once.
Wow.
And anyway, I compromised on living in that attic in order to own this asset. Now, fast forward 4 years, it's going to work out for me.
Yeah.
But that's why I would say if you're able to do this type of investing in real estate, that's how I got my foot in the door. That's what's putting me in places now where I'm being now with this sale, I'm assessing the next deal. Like
That's right.
I'm sitting in the investor seat now. Like what are we going to take this equity and put it into next?
Yeah, now you have 3-4 years of real estate knowledge, so you're going into the next purchase with a lot of
Really
specific
7 years. I
knowledge.
bought my first house. I bought my first
Right.
house in 2020.
What's
And-
your net worth these days?
Nothing. I'm broke. I have nothing.
Brett, you're sitting here describing fucking 5 family houses to me that you're just gonna we'll just sell that.
I have
Give
$1
me
million.
money.
I have $1 million in loans too. So put
In
it that way.
loans?
Yeah. Both these loans.
yeah.
We bought it with zero equity. We bought it with
Right.
3.5%
Wow.
equity.
Right.
Right. And we don't pay the nut anymore. Right. When we lived there, we would pay the mortgage. But when you
But
move
now
out,
you're renting.
the rent
Right.
pays the mortgage and we take a little bit on the top.
Right, yeah. You take
Right.
a little bit for yourself.
But it's not my equity. The equity grows when the market grows.
I feel like
That's-
he's not being honest.
Listen.
I feel like he was talking like a man in fucking Rome.
Yeah,
Who's
multi-millionaire.
got a lot of a 7-figure account going on there.
Maybe he's got stuff in Dubai.
All I will
It's
say-
2.2 in Trestevere. We can do that all day.
I just feel extremely confident and comfortable and blessed with where I've come. It took me a long time to feel this way because when you're in the industry that I'm in, unless you're on a consistent closing schedule, you don't feel like you're a part of the game. But in reality, like if you pull up realtor stats right now, like
What stats?
like look up the percent of realtors that close 5 or more deals a year, like those.
Percent of you close 5 deals at one fucking dinner.
That's what I'm saying. Like
He's a community man.
because that made me feel better. You know, knowing that.
He's like telling the waiter, like, yeah, hold off on dessert. Yeah. No, all right, $6.50. All right, yeah. You got it.
That was the hardest.
14 to 16% of all registered real estate agents close 5 or more deals per year.
A year.
A year.
5 or more deals a year, and
So
that's
you're like
gonna.
the top 0.0.
I'm
You're like the
I
Epstein class
gotta
of
be on the
realtors.
yes. I gotta be in like the
He's
top
like,
5% of realtors, and that's
right.
And that's not something I promote. That's not something I
Right.
because you could go to these whatever these rankings are and apply and put your name on the board and get these. You're a silver star realtor. You're this. And I feel like I should, at some point in my career, put those accolades up.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just enjoying what I'm getting done right now and
right.
being able to help people more than anything. Because people need help in this market. Like I was talking about, Montclair is war. It's legit war. Imagine walking into a house. It's war. It's war.
I know what you mean.
You're walking into a house and you're standing next to 15 other people that want to buy that house. And I've done this before.
They're standing next to you. I've done this pretty intimidating.
I've done this before where it's a weekend of like, we go to an open house, like open house. Every open house we go to, it's the same group of people going to every open house.
You just got to walk up next to them and breathe on them.
It's like, and it's these people's livelihoods. It's everybody in their family, their mother, brother, their daughter, their son. And it's like, I feel bad. And the only way to guide them to the promised land is with knowledge and support. Because at the end of the day, I could have told my buyer that, and I did tell my buyer that, hey, we're looking at this $900,000 house. In order to get it, you got to offer 1.2. You got to pay cash.
And I got to break the legs of everyone else offering something.
And we're gonna have to do some crazy stuff to get it. But it's not my decision. It's not my decision to put their money up. They have to. But I have to be the voice of reason and be like, hey, our $950 offer is not gonna do the trick here.
Now, what is this bullshit with you trying to get John Rondi to move from his penthouse, whatever that is?
Listen, John Rondi is another character who likes to make money on his money.
I understand that, but he's in a really good place.
So nothing about moving out of where he lives is what we were doing. We were just looking at options to see if his money, rather than sitting or going with our buddy Taylor, could go into real estate and make some money there.
So take money out of your friend's mouth to feed John more. And you took him to the shittiest places.
We saw some really nice places.
No. None of those places could hold a candle to that fucking place he's got.
Again,
if you make him move, that's malpractice. I'm not doing this anymore.
And I don't want him to move.
Good.
I told him he has to throw a party next week, actually.
Next week?
Why not?
Fire me up, pal. Let's go.
But yeah, he approached me and was interested in looking at places because he's been in his place for about 3 years now. And he's like, what would it look like to buy? And, that's what I do. I help people. And I walked him through the process of what, these are the properties that probably fall into what you're looking for. And this is what it is. And he came up with the same estimation you came up with.
Good.
I'm not fucking moving out of my place.
Yeah, so don't make content that scares the shit out of people like me. Where like, yeah, my friend John's moving. Let's go look at places. By the way, this place sucks compared to where he's at. That's what he said.
He opened the video up saying that I'm a big boy now. I got to buy. What did he say?
Yeah, but you told him to say that. I saw the shadow of you holding a gun to his fucking head. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. I got to take a piss real fast. We'll come back and keep ripping through.
Cool. I think we're doing great here.
Yeah, you're doing awesome. All right, we're back. We just did a lot of good real estate talking. My head's fucking spinning. I'm still too poor to fucking own a house, but just got back from Italy, huh?
Oh my God, was that a trip?
It was
the best surprise ever. We got to see you.
We kept that close to the
chest. That was so
bro.
Funny, dude.
Yeah.
We're just sitting at the piazza. No, where were we sitting? We
were
sitting
at the restaurant. We set you up at the restaurant.
In Piazza Navona, right?
Right off Piazza Navona, yeah.
Right, we're sitting there, and we just arrived in Rome. All we did,
Tutto Passo Max for
just
a little bit.
maxing, Tutto Passo Max. But you have to understand, when we arrived in Italy, the people that we were with, we all kind of are the same person internally, where it was our Airbnb didn't start until 10:30. So the first thing we did was drop our bags off at the Airbnb, walk immediately, get a panini, and then walk down even a little bit further, get a cappuccino and a croissant. So
that's right.
Boom, 2 meals off the bat, and a cappuccino, and maybe we started with a spritz, and we bought a pack of cigarettes. Boom, we're already in our Tutto Pasta energy, and then we're all right, let's go to Piazza Navono and just Piazza Max for a little bit, right? We're sitting there. Next thing I know, I order a little bit of food. We order wine. We're on our second round, And Deef's eyes just light up, and I'm like, "The hell is going on?" I turn my head, and Julian's just walking down the cobblestone street. I'm like,
I didn't think I was gonna skip fucking Rome. You're
like,
in my
what
city.
the hell is going on here? And we have like a seat for him. It was like boom, automatic, and then just like right back into the saddle, eating more, drinking more. That day might have been one of the best days because it's hard. You can't put a finger on what the best day was because every day just kept getting better and better, right?
Yeah, that trip we just full scented. It was great.
Dude, sitting down in Italy, knowing that you're eating, some of the best food in the world, and you could just not have a bad, what is that? The sweetness of doing nothing. What is that called? How do you say that in Italian?
I have no idea.
But that's like the saying in Italian. It's like the sweetness of doing nothing. And then when you're doing that with your best friends, I don't think there's a similar feeling to
it was cool.
that.
It was cool. Yeah, I was down in Florida. Deef and I were visiting Danny Jones end of March, beginning of April. And at the hotel one day, he was talking about this trip because you guys had the wedding for your boy in Florence that weekend. And he's like, yeah, I'm going for a week. And he's like looking at me. I'm like, fuck, am I going to do this? He's like, come on, you got to. I'm like, yeah, but you guys got the wedding. He's like, dude, just side quested on the weekend. And I was like, you know what? Funny enough, when I lived in Rome, the one city in Italy that I didn't visit was Florence. So I'm like, that's perfect. You guys have the wedding stuff Saturday night and Sunday. I'll side quest it. I was like, fuck it. And I bought a ticket. But you guys had gotten a ticket from JFK. I got it from Newark. So I'm like, this is perfect. I'm like, all right, don't tell him I'm fucking coming. So that day, like fast forward, when we went to leave, Deef and I had to record our weekend episode early. So we were going to do it that morning after the gym. I guess Kish came and stayed by him for the night. So Kish walks into the gym and I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, what's up? He goes, yeah, I'm actually going to work from your place this morning if that's cool while you're recording. I'm like, that's absolutely fine.
I love your Kish voice. It's
so he's like, I'm like, you ever been to Italy? He's like, no, man, I'm looking forward to it so much. I got family over there. I'm visiting them for a few days. I'm like, dude, you're going to fucking love it. He's like, what are you going to do without Deef? I'm like, I got one recording. I got to go to the shore this weekend. It's fun. So he comes over, and I look at Deef when we go in here to record, and I'm like, I have my packing list done, but when we're done, you got to get the fuck out of here because I still have to pack. I don't want him to see a suitcase. So afterwards, he's fucking talking it up with me in there. And I'm looking at Deef. I'm like, and he's like, yeah. So he drags him out of there. They go to JFK. I run in here, pack my whole suitcase, just go off the list, go to the airport. You guys are at a separate airport. And I was worried because our flights were getting in at the same time. Fiumicino, I'm like, fuck, they might see me in customs. But then I got delayed like an hour and a half. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I roll in. I'm texting Deef. I'm like, all right, kill time by the Coliseum and then get lunch at our spot by Piazza Navona. I'll just walk up. And it was fucking perfect. I got to go to the hotel, do an hour and a half nap, woke up feeling fucking ready to go, pulled out around the corner. I was pumped to do that. That was cool.
That was awesome, dude.
It was fucking great.
And then, that day was great. We didn't, we went to Il Duca, right? Il Duca was closed, so, the sweetness of doing nothing and tutto passa. What is tutto passa? Tutto passa is this too shall pass.
Yes.
Right? So you have no, whatever happens in your life, it will pass and you go on to the next. We take 3 steps down and we hit another restaurant.
You can't go wrong.
Dude, that was just like another amazing meal. We met the dude who ended up selling us some hash so that we could have
Good
hash
guy.
for the week,
That's the only word in English he knew.
Yeah.
Hash and table.
Well, he had a shirt on that said
Ayahuasca.
ayahuasca.
We're like, there's
and
our
I was
man.
like, that might be the guy to help us out.
Yeah, that was a good spot too. That was one I hadn't been to. It was literally right next there.
I'm curious what you did in Florence when we were at the wedding and stuff. You went and
So you guys, well, first of all,
the night we
that
went
was the longest bender I've been on since college. I don't know how that kept going. I didn't.
You were
know,
only there for part 1 of it,
bro. No. Like the full trip, the full week trip that it ended up being, including when you guys were at the wedding and I was out doing my fucking thing. Like, I didn't expect this. I knew we were going to be fucking drinking, but the first night we got hammered. I'm like, all right, take it easy. Deef and I, while you guys were playing golf, Deef and I are like walking around Rome. He's like telling me to walk slow, vacation speed.
Oh, well, that's another whole conversation we could have.
What are you
going
to do? Honestly,
I'm trying to help you need to be seen like therapy for the amount of walking that you did.
It's all right. That's all I did in that city. So anyway, and I'm like, all right, we're taking this slow. Next thing I know, I'm going to Giovanni's bar at 5 because you guys would show up like 2 hours later, throwing them back, smoking stoves. And then we get hammered that night. I live stream throughout Rome, and I'm thinking, all right, we wake up Friday.
That was Il Duca night.
Yes. I'm like, we wake up Friday.
Well, we didn't want to get drunk that night. Do you remember what happened?
We drank like
the community
fucking
man
7
happened.
bottles.
The community man happened.
Tell that story.
We walk out of the restaurant, and I don't want to get judged, but when you're in Europe, in Italy specifically, you have to smoke cigarettes. You have to.
Yeah, you're in Europe.
Oh,
right?
yeah. No.
So
they're healthy for you.
I step out of eating my weight in pasta and dessert. Julian did a great job of ordering that night, but
I'm a weapon with the menu.
It really is dangerous. But then I took care of dessert, which
I did give you the menu for that. I have a picture of that too.
I posted that picture.
Yes,
when I'm leaning
right.
against the wall, like looking at the menu.
That's right.
Anyway,
were locked in.
I was locked in, and when we made great decisions, we walk out of that restaurant. I light a cigarette, and this English dude, he's English, right?
Yeah, I thought he was talking shit on me first, but I went with it, and then we were laughing, and then you came up.
And then I kind of like
someone,
I
right?
put my arm around him, and we're messing around, right? And then we get to talking. He's like, "Come on, lad, you gotta have a drink with us. You gotta have a drink with us."
Wow,
tall guy,
tall, big guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. Next thing you know, we go to have a fucking drink with the guy because you kind of just have to. And then we're talking, and he's explaining that he only knows a few guys from New York because he played basketball with them in overseas. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, my lad, Brendan. And I'm like, wait, who? He's like, Brendan Federico. I'm like, no.
I fucking know him.
I was like, you're not talking about Brendan, you know? And he's like, pulls up a picture. And I was like, there's no way you know this kid. I was like, I know him too. Like, he's in the same friend group as me.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, we'll have to do tequila shots now, man.
And he's like, no.
Damn it.
Then we're taking shots and like,
what?
Tell me that's not the most community.
That's crazy.
It was awesome. But I walked out of there. I'm like, no, I'm fucking wired. I'm hammered. I got coffee in my system. I hadn't drank coffee for like 2 weeks. We get a cappuccino after dinner and a bunch of tequila shots. I was like,
oh yeah, and then you were on one, and then you roamed the city. For,
yeah, I had to give a live
Wait,
tour.
when did you live in Rome?
2014.
What for? Just for
I studied over there in college.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I was like, I got home that night because they were staying at the Airbnb. I was staying right by Piazza Navona. And I was like, fuck, I'm not going to bed. So I just started live streaming through the streets. That was it. Good time.
Your streets.
So that
like,
was
go to
day,
bed.
that was
Like,
only
fuck
day
you.
2.
That was day 2. And then I'm like, all right, we got this big dinner tonight, meeting everyone in Florence. I'm like, okay, we'll just have a nice, like, big food dinner. I'll go home. No. I started with the wine order. John Rondi killed it with the fucking menu orders, went through every fucking course, had it nailed. And then I start just plowing the wine back. Then he's bringing over espresso spritzes. And then at like 12, I'm hammered. And I'm like, okay. And you guys are like, all right, let's go to the club. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
That club was sick too.
Yeah, we were there till fucking
4
4:15 in the morning.
We
I
drank
got
8
there.
bottles
Oof.
of champagne that night.
And I carried you on the way there.
Jeez.
That's a legendary picture.
I did.
I saw that. The piggyback.
I did carry him on the way there. Let me
Because
tell
I
you,
was
it
complaining. We were walking so much, and
Yes.
he's like, "All right, let me carry you." And
Yeah.
I was like,
That's.
I didn't think that one through.
And
Here's the thing, though. There's a huge difference between deadlifting 315 pounds and carrying a 315-pound human. So, like,
I mean, at that point in my life, I might have been more than 315 pounds, though.
let me see if it goes into focus here. Hold on. I don't know if there it is. Yeah. So Kish got like a few of the steps. It was the longest 31 and a
You
half
might have
steps.
made it to that red light. That was probably as far as you made it.
It was the longest 31 and a
Let me
half
see.
steps I have ever taken in my entire life.
Let me
And
see.
I counted all of them. But my back was good the next day.
Wow.
But like,
Well, we
you're-
danced it
like,
off.
The only problem was like holding your calves because they're big. So you're not like when I deadlift like a hex bar, it's like boom, just like this. When I'm holding calves and it's like distributed,
Well, also,
you can't fucking.
also, you know, like when you're deadlifting 315 pounds, you have whatever 150 pounds and 150
exactly
pounds.
distributed.
You know,
There's a lot of
there's a
different
lot
areas.
happening,
And you're
There's a lot
swinging
of- and
around.
I'm moving around,
And you were enjoying
I'm like
yourself
yelling
too
in your
much.
ear, and so that night happened. Now I'm curious because the next day was the welcome party.
Okay, before your welcome party, it was my personal 9/11 that afternoon.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
All right.
Yeah.
I woke up at 1:30 in this blacked out hotel room, and I texted Joseph DeFilippis, and I'm like, Deef, I know we were talking about doing side quests today. A, not only is that absolutely not going to happen, B, I'm not moving from this bed. He's like, brother, they already dragged me out. Totally don't blame me. Just rest it off. So I get up and make a thumbnail at like 3:30 because I had an episode coming out.
3:30.
It wasn't my best work. And then I'm like, all right, I'll get a shower. So I get a shower. It's a nice shower. And there's no shit in their water there, you know? So it's like a half-hour shower. I get out, and I'm like, all right.
How are you not starving at this point?
I mean, dude, food was the farthest thing from my mind. I was like, okay, all right, I'll walk into town. It's like a mile, 0.2 to walk to the middle of town. So I get out, and I'm like, all right, I don't feel... All right, I'll get a coffee. I sit down in that piazza we were in the night before dinner.
Yeah.
I get a coffee. I'm like, you know what, buddy? I'll take a second one. All right, I get a second one. Then I get up. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will go get a little dinner. Just dinner. Just dinner, and then I'll go home. Okay. So I find this spot right in front of the Medici's mansion. There's like one table outside. I'm like, good, no human beings. I can just sit here alone. So the fucking maitre d' comes over. Nice kid. He's like 23. We start making friends. He's like, oh my God, what are you doing in town? This kid Lorenzo, sweet guy. So I'm like, all right, we're going back and forth. He's asking me about America. I'm like, you know what, Lorenzo? I'll take a bottle of wine. What's one bottle of wine? He's like, good choice. So he brings a bottle of wine. That's gone in like 15 minutes.
Just you.
Yeah. And then, I take like 2 courses. It was good. And he goes, Julian, I am going to shut down the bar and try to sell drinks. My friend is coming over. I make you Negroni. I'm like, you know what? Twist my arm. I'll go home after 1. 3 Negronis later. All right, let's fire up the fucking espressos. Boy gets there. We're talking for like 2 hours. They're selling drinks to every girl that's coming by. And I'm like, all right, let's get 2 more espresso more. Then you guys FaceTime me.
Yeah.
It's like 11:45 now, and I'm wired.
I was fully 2 sheets at this point.
Bro, you didn't even make it
I
to
didn't
that
make
bar?
it. Yeah, I didn't make it.
I then sprinted 0.4 miles, I measured it, across Ponte Vecchio to the bar and was out watching Mariano Rivera, a.k.a. Joey DeFilippis, close until 4 a.m.
Wait, no, I did walk past you. Remember I walked past you on my way home? I looked at you, I go, gelato, now.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I just walked back.
Yeah, you left.
It's good
But
to see you.
even Kish like laid out the fucking cigars when I got there because I was just chain smoking cigars all week. And I'm like, this is night 4 and I'm good. I woke up the next day, I was good. I was like, what the fuck is going on with this? I have not done this since college.
I was just gonna say it's interesting to see you having fun like that.
Yeah, but listen, I had
You're
he'll
grinding
attest. I have
all
a
the
good
time.
fucking time, but I'm a one night wonder. It's been that way since I was 24. You get one night from me.
One night in a decade.
I may not
We
remember
got
a lot of it.
6 good nights there.
You got 6 straight nights. But yeah, I side quested it that night, then got to see some of you guys late, and then the next day you guys had the wedding. And I went and chilled with Lorenzo again, fucking explored around, got to see Florence, really cool place, got hammered again.
Really?
Then, yeah.
I'm seeing the dots though, because you've been doing this for 6 years now here, podcast. So you
Six
made up
and-
for
6
6
and a half.
years.
6
nights.
days,
There you
yeah.
go.
I made it
go.
up real fast. I looked at Deef the last night in Rome. I was like, brother, my system needs a cleanse.
I did the same thing in the last night.
Yeah.
But then I made horrible decisions when I got home and kind of like, we've been saying on the whole trip that we were big doing it.
Yes.
And then
Did you
we-
get that tattoo yet?
Not yet. Me and Deef are gonna get it, BDI. But the big doing it really hasn't stopped because we came home and it's the World Cup and the Knicks won.
What are you gonna do?
You know,
Wow.
like
You came home the day
you were forced into big doing it.
Wow.
You know.
Now tell us about the wedding. Enough of the side quests. How was the wedding?
mean, honestly, like again, you're in the hills of Tuscany at this beautiful. I want to call it a castle, but this beautiful venue that it was like, who knows when it was built, you know? Again, I'm in the wedding party with like 10 of my best friends and a whole bunch of new friends that, we've come to become close with because we're all in the wedding party together. And you're just in the epitome of happiness. Like the pictures that we had are just some of the most incredible views that you'll probably ever see in your life. And you're getting to experience it on your best friend's wedding day with all your other best friends. Like, I don't think like, when we kept saying it, like as far as life experiences go, like those memories that we made that week at the wedding, days leading up into the wedding, all throughout Italy, gallivanting with your best friends. Those are some of the life memories that we'll have and cherish for the rest of our lives. And, something we'll always go back and talk about. But, so they bring out the wedding party, right? And we go to sit down and have dinner. It's 2 different locations, both very beautiful. The ceremony was awesome. One of my friends, Penn State brothers, was the one reading at the wedding, and he did a great job. And it was just beautiful. Their vows were beautiful. And, my friend Ryan, whose wedding it was, we've legitimately been friends since, I can remember Wayne Panther football when we're like in 3rd grade together. So when you see somebody like that, and same thing with John and like the group of guys that we were with, all of those guys have been together since that time.
Yeah, you guys got a fucking great group of friends.
So when you're taking these major life changes or growth moments and you're with those people, it's so special. And then adding on top of it, you're in the Tuscan Hills. You can't. So anyway, we go to sit down and have dinner, and then we have dinner, and then like for dessert or when they bring the cake out, they have a surprise. First of all, they're playing Frank Ocean and some of the best music at the dinner. Like we were vibrating at high frequencies, but they bring out a saxophonist, and he's just shredding. There's a video of Deef like just vibing with the saxophone guy. Like it's like one of my favorite videos.
I saw that.
So, and then, so saxophone comes, we do the dinner, and then we go, yeah. Oh, it's on his story right now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's it. There's Deef and Lamberg. Euro Lamberg. New character unlocked.
A fully new character
unlocked. I think I'm a fucking liberal now. I'm like, Lan, you were there for 4 days, pal.
I know. He changed completely.
Yeah, it's funny.
He's still the same. He hasn't changed, morphed back into his normal self yet, but
that's right.
Maybe he needs a month home to fully morph back in.
Yeah.
So then we partied there was like a DJ, the whole 9 yards, bar was going crazy. They end up going out that night. Kish stays out, so I'm rooming with Kish in Florence.
How was that?
There is no better person in the world to go on vacation with than Kish.
Are you in the same bed?
We're cheek to cheek in bed.
Cheek to cheek.
We put no pillow barrier, but we knew to not cross the center line.
Those are 2 large humans.
Whoa.
I think some center lines might have gotten crossed.
My hand might have went over,
right.
A leg might have went over.
It's not gay if you're not turned on.
No, there was no gay energy. But again, I think Kish might be the best human being to go on vacation with because already he's hilarious, but like
unintentionally.
When you just put your life in neutral and just let it happen, like his regular existence is just the funniest thing in the world.
Hey, Meta, what am I looking at here?
And he could be looking at the cobblestones and
that's
asking
right.
Meta that.
Hey, Meta, how old are these
when was that cobblestone put there, Meta? So that was the wedding night. And then the next day, Ryan and Carly rented an Airbnb up in the Tuscan Hills with a beautiful pool and like a farm pretty much.
Oh, that was a different place.
That was a totally different place.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we had to imagine 40 people went and everybody took a taxi up there. Yeah. And at a certain point, there was no roads. It was just dirt roads. And like some people's taxis didn't go all the way. Some people's taxi, like my taxi dropped me off right in front.
I was going to say,
and I was very
made damn sure.
But out of respect, I went to the bottom of the hill and was waving everybody in.
This man was so fucking traumatized from the first day of walking not that far.
I think we walked 10 miles.
He made me.
I think we walked 10 miles.
No, we walked.
It was 20,000 steps. It was 20,000 steps.
He made me order a 0.9 mile Uber in Rome.
We had eaten 5 pasta courses.
Not then.
That was Il Duca. That was after Il. That was after.
This is at La Botticella with Giovanni, and I'm like, we're gonna walk over. It's my favorite walk from Piazza Navona to Trestevere.
It was
like,
after
I'm not
dinner.
Fucking walking.
It was after dinner.
No,
it was pre-dinner. It was before we went to Il Duca.
You made the British guy do it on his last night. He wanted to walk over there.
You could have walked over there.
I was about to, but you're like, no, we're taking the Uber. And it took 15 minutes for the Uber to get there.
I put my foot down on walking after day 1. I just said no more walk.
Listen,
but then you get to Florence. Then you get to Florence, and you can only walk.
That's right.
So
it's good for you.
You're
always talking about the NFA. I'm like, I'm gonna NF fucking nail you with the walking.
I showed up to the welcome party, and I had tan khaki pants on and a green shirt. It was a different color by the time we showed up.
That's awesome.
Insert picture of that. I have a picture of that.
I just love every time you turn around, like, you know, you talk about blending it. You do blend it. And then you just be like ripping a bogue far away with a deadly serious look on your face. And I'd just be bagging up every time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'll never forget that trip. I think we have to do a company trip at least once a year.
I think I did do it. Like I said, Kish was, when he was saying,
If we all went in on a place, you know, like $10K a year, we have it, we Airbnb it, get some money back.
I was like, dude, stop tempting me with this. Where's the shot of you in the Here it is. You in the Vatican. That's a great shot. Just chilling. That's going on Instagram at some point
great
when I do it. But I just first day walking up to the Vatican.
I mean, that was the first time I'm fully drenched right there. It was raining a little bit too.
I can't believe you didn't break that thing. That's not that big.
That thing was built in year 2.
Whatever.
So it's been there. You think it would be me? You think I'm the one that's breaking it?
I think you might. Listen, if I were taking a bet. That it did turn hot though. In your defense, like it was like raining and cloudy when we started to walk over there, so it was cool. And then by the time we got to the main strip, it was very sunny and hot. We were all in jeans, so I could see why you were a little traumatized by the walking. But like, you gotta walk through Rome. That's where
I enjoyed it. I did it. We walked.
Yeah.
And then after the walking, we don't anymore.
I did a 2-mile walk on stream, and it was in the middle of the night. It was no problem.
Well, you were high off caffeine.
Yeah, not a lot either. It's crazy when you don't drink coffee for that long.
Also, I think everything is more pure there. They're not.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Even the cigarettes.
Even the cigarettes.
You smoke a cigarette here, it takes an hour to burn. You smoke a cigarette there, it's done in 3 minutes.
Whatever cigars were in that spot across from Giovanni's bar that I was ripping at the bar each night. Oh my God. I got to get the name of those things. They were like.
Probably can't even get them here.
Should have been illegal. They were so fucking good.
You know the one thing I regret?
What's that?
We should have hit up Bobby's Plug in Florence and went to that restaurant.
Bobby's Plug?
Servino. Didn't Servino hit you up?
Did he? No. He didn't hit me up.
I thought he hit either you or Deef up.
He might have hit
You
Deef
gotta
up.
go. You gotta go.
He might have hit Deef up, yeah. But I've been hooking up people with Alessio at that restaurant. I've hooked up like 2 people
You know
in
what,
the last week.
the day you left,
we went to
Dei Rossi,
Yeah.
and we met the owner, and he took us on an Anthony Bourdain tour the next day. So we met the owner, Lycian, and he was the homie. Like we were with a group of like 6, and we're trying to coordinate what we want to order, and the waiter doesn't speak English, so he comes over and automatically, like, I give him the dap up, and that dap up was like, you knew we were homies at that point of that dap up, and he put his arm on my shoulder, and then I put my arm on his shoulder, and I was like, you got us tonight, right?
Yes.
I was like, we want to eat pasta, we want to eat steak, we want to eat carbonara, we're here. He's like, let me take the reins, and I'll bring you home. And he brought us home. Wow. We get our first round of pastas, and I look at Kish, I look at Sean, and Sean's like, I'm hungry tonight. We were not really trying to drink that night, but we were trying to eat.
Yes.
So first round of pastas, it was carbonara, it was truffle, it was
You get that oxtail too?
No, not the wild boar.
Duca.
But anyway, it was like 4 pastas, right? And we're all looking at each other. We're like, just run it back. Same thing. Mm-hmm. Just so he ran it right back. Another 4 on the table. And then boom, the steak comes out with the sides. Everything was like spectacular. Lycian the whole night was coming up, making sure we're okay. Hey, this is on the house. Hey, this is on the house.
Oh shit!
You know, like, cool. And then by the end of the dinner, he came. He sat down with us, bullshitting the whole night. He drinking wine together and stuff. And he's like, "What are you guys doing tomorrow?" To me, and everybody was leaving besides me and Rondi. And me and John are like, we're not doing anything. You know, we were gonna just go back to Rome at some point because our flight is the next day. And he's like, meet me at 11. I have a panini shop.
Oh, that's where you did the video.
Right next to the Duomo. So we pull up to his panini shop, and we have a straight Anthony Bourdain day. He has 5 locations. So we do a Johnny Drinks video at the panini shop. Mm-hmm. His homie owns the gelateria right next door, so we have gelato. Then he takes us to his other restaurant that his brother owns, and we have a sit-down lunch there, drink some wine, have some prosciutto and fried bread, and the the carbonara ravioli. I've never had that in my life. You cut open the ravioli.
That'll do it.
You cut open the ravioli, the egg yolk came pouring out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck yeah.
And then, you know, we were bullshitting with him the whole time, and then he takes us back. You know, just an awesome, like, community man experience right there. You know what I mean?
I do have a bone to pick with Johnny Drinks.
About
he put me to work at dinner on Friday night doing
the
lot
video,
of fucking filming.
I mean, you did a great job. That video,
yeah,
did great.
I got 0 credits. I was not paid anything. I didn't even get a fucking union card out of it.
You know,
I thought you were a professional, John. You've been a TikToker for a long time. You should know how to take care of your cameraman, but that's neither here nor there.
That was a great dinner.
Yes, it was nice to see you get credits for the Panini video.
It was nice.
So he recovered on that, but I'm still waiting on mine.
Well, if I'm going to be honest, the way it all went down at Dei Rossi is Sean's girlfriend, Risa, was referred this place by a travel agent. So we were like, we walked in like, not skeptical, but like, are we going to be able to get a table?
Place is good.
They took us there, and then I don't want to say it was me, but me and the owner, after that handshake, he felt that energy.
Yeah.
I'm moving the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're
we're almost there.
Yeah.
You invented a new term, by the way.
What's that?
It was a new term that I was unfamiliar with that now I can never get out of my head. We're finishing that dinner Friday night, which was like fucking 40 courses at that restaurant. What was it called? Osteria Riverview.
The View.
The View. But I've been hooking up people with Alessio. Shout out Alessio at that restaurant since then because a couple people I know are going to Florence. But we're finishing up dinner. We've been there for fucking 5 hours. And
might have drank 10 bottles of wine. More than that. Probably.
And you're like, I got to take a shit. I'm like, good. Bathroom's downstairs. You're like, no. I got to take a shit. I'm like, yes. The bathroom's right down there around the corner. It says solo bathroom. And you're like, no, this is a home bowl.
Home bowl advantage.
I'm like, excuse me? And you're like, home bowl advantage. And I'm like, what does that mean? And you're like, I'm going back to the hotel to do a home bowl shit. I'm like, the hotel you checked into like fucking 2 hours ago is now a home. What is a home bowl?
You don't want to play an away game when you got a belly full of Florentine steak and, you know, codfish and sea bass and all the pastas. You want to be comfortable
so
and
go blow up the hotel.
Have a home bowl advantage.
A home bowl advantage.
And that wasn't, I'm not coining that term. I'm not coining that term.
That's a coined term.
That was when I was playing freshman football. We had a coach that said that. I'm trying to think of the context of why he said that, but I think it was because he was trying to get out of practice early because he had to take a shit, and he was like, I got to have home bowl advantage, and he had to get home and not take a shit at the school. So after that stuck to me because I would think a lot of people like home bowl advantage rather than playing away games most of the time. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're a guy like me that's always on the road, you know. You could appreciate the home bowl.
Well, it took a few pounds off you when I had to carry you later.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I appreciate you, looking out for me.
A very funny story about that is when I walked out the restaurant, Ravi and Sean were smoking a cigarette, and I was like halfway down the street because the hotel we were staying at was right there. I was like halfway down the street, and I ripped one, and they heard it like 10 yards away, and they're like, "Nick, was that you?" And I was just,
don't worry about it. Oh my God, how's NFA coming since you've been back?
Yeah, I'm hand up to God here. It's not good. I have to lock in.
All right,
I've worked out 4 times this week. I'm working out. It's the eating, man. You know, the eating and the drinking is just not helpful. It's not good.
The drinking is what catches up because then it just makes sure it shuts down your whole system.
You know,
sure. You can move it fast though.
I could, and I know I could because
a fucking bull.
And I also work out hard as an animal. So like, if I stay locked in, like I played basketball for the first time since I've been back, like the week I got back, and then this week I'm gonna play 3 times. You know, I've been in the gym a lot. Like once that kind of that routine settles in, which I think by the end of this week I'll be like. Because moving your body makes you feel good.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and not moving your body, you feel not good.
Yep.
So, you know, and even talking about it right now and talking to you about it, like, it's helpful to just put it out there that, like, hey, like, I need to lock back in. Well, I only gained like, so going into the week, I was 279. Like, let's call it the weekend before we left.
279.
279. That's real weight. Real weight. Hold on. Let's talk here.
I want to check that scale.
I was 279. Okay.
I know 315 when I hold it.
I was 279. Then the weekend before, I was seeing a girl, and we kind of made things official. And when you're in the honeymoon phase, not good things happen to your diet, and you're going out. So 279 maybe turned into 284 right before we left. Maybe 285. Okay. And when we got back, I was 290.
Right.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
Okay. So I gave my size. I said I gained like 6 pounds in Italy.
Plus like 25.
But then I came back and we're still honeymoon phasing.
Oh, you and the girl.
Yeah. So
good for you.
Now I'm like 296. I haven't hit 300 yet, but it's not good. I need to shed that 20 real quick.
Cut out breakfast. Don't eat after 8 o'clock. Just don't drink too much alcohol. Get your body moving, and fucking you bench like 400 pounds. Just bench and fucking deadlift. You'll be.
I think
you'll
if
be
I
yoked
actually
in 60 days.
I think if I actually lock in, I could lose the 20 pounds in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it just turned. That's what I'm saying. It'll just turn to muscle. Like
Yeah,
you should.
and I don't mind that. Like
Yeah,
when I
you
was
should operate
279,
at
bro, I was
260.
dude.
Yeah.
I feel like an ox right now.
Yeah,
I am. I ran my first ever 5K of my life last week. I ran
did
a
a
5K.
5K?
I ran a 5K. It took.
You ran it or you walked it,
It took 35 minutes.
and you made me get a fucking 0.9
it took 35
mile Uber.
minutes. We walked 10 miles that day.
No,
That's
we
not
did
an exaggeration.
You
We
played
walked 10
golf
miles that day.
You played golf.
The day before, we walked 10 miles.
That's fine, but I'm talking about this, and then
and then when
walked
you're
to the
golfing, you're
restaurant.
walking and hitting the ball. and
You took a golf cart, Malaka. Come on.
Anyway, I'm standing on that Uber ride no matter
Mm-hmm.
till the day I die. And throughout the rest of our being, I am going to be the Uber guy.
No.
You will be the walking guy. I will be the Uber guy. And there will be a head there. There will always be a head there.
We'll figure it out.
You wanted to, when we went to dinner for your birthday, your surprise dinner, I bet you wanted to walk home from West Side Jersey City that night.
I would have done it.
I know you would have
It
done
was
it.
like- it
we
was
were
like
all standing
17
outside
degrees.
waiting for Ubers, and you were like, I saw you were like itching.
jonesing.
Like,
I was jonesing, bro. I was jonesing for that for sure. But it was a good time. It was cool to be able to do that. I never
my God.
get away like that. So
we actually
awesome.
like actually need to do it again. And
Yes.
even if it's not Italy, like even if it's just like down the shore or something for a weekend.
I was telling you guys over there, my buddy Nico, who you know, who we got to talk about that with some of the real estate you're working on for him, because he's a dual citizen of Greece, and I've been over to his spots in Greece that are fucking.
Wait, he owns
unreal.
restaurants in Greece too?
No, he's a dual citizen and has places there.
Okay.
And it's like the one place, the key that he goes, no Americans go to. The clubs are the greatest clubs in the world. It's the most beautiful fucking place on the planet. And I haven't been back in a while. And he's like, we got to get a big crew and do something. So I'm like, we talked about that for like the last 5 years. Like, I was like, I'll lock in. I'll get a bunch of my fucking friends from different friend groups to go out there. But you got to do like at least a week and a half, 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
we should do that.
I would be
fucking
100%
great.
down for that.
That'd be great. But no, it was really cool. I appreciate you guys letting me fucking tag along for a lot of that. And shout out to your boy Ryan for getting married.
Yeah.
Gave me a good excuse to get
Shout
over
out
there.
Ryan and Carly, man. They brought us all together in one of the most beautiful places on earth.
That was cool. Yeah.
How
for
cool
sure.
is that?
Yeah, you had
There was like
everyone in town.
130 something people showed up to the wedding.
Crazy big wedding. Amazing. But yo, we'll do this again sometime soon, all right?
Definitely. Thank you, Julian.
All right. Peace.
Peace.